The Horror Writers Association is doomed. Everything has blown up. Everything is terrible. Oh my God, it's doomed. AI has killed the HWA. Stay tuned to find out what the crap I'm talking about. Hey there, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if this is your first time here. I'm John Hartness. I'm the founder and publisher of Falstaff Books, as well as a freelance editor and the author of over 40 novel-length works, including The Black Knight Chronicles, Bubba the Monster Hunter, Quincy Harker Demon Hunter, and a pile of other stuff. And if you've watched my videos before, you'll notice that it looks different back there. And it may sound a little different. And you may hear a dog once in a while. A lot of changes going on in my life. I'm moving. I'm in the process of moving. This is our new studio setup, and by that I mean a chunk of my office. In my new home, my wife and I have moved back to South Carolina, to the house I grew up in. And boy, did it seem bigger when I was young. So there's going to be some changes in the way things look and maybe our release schedule. I don't know. I'm honestly not in charge of that. I shoot the videos, I upload them, and my marketing director makes the magic happen. But that's why things look a little different. But boy, HWA is the Horror Writers Association. It's the professional organization for horror writers worldwide. It produces the Stoker Awards. It produces Stoker Con. And it has historically been a strong, vibrant, and really kind of awesome organization. And boy, did they step in it this week. So we're going to go through the timeline of how they absolutely, positively, 1000% stepped on their junk very publicly, and how they very quickly, efficiently, and I believe ethically recovered, and why I think the organization will still be in a strong place moving forward. So no, the Terminator did not kill HWA. No, HWA did not implode. No, HWA is not a terrible organization. It is an organization that is made up of human beings, and several of them made mistakes as part of this process, but the organization has addressed those issues and I believe is in a position to do better and move forward in a better place. So what happened? And who did what? Well, this week on the 4th or 5th of August, 2026, and it really kind of depends on what time zone you're in and when you checked your email or whatever, an essay went out in HWA's member newsletter. A very long essay. Very long. We're going to hit the high points or low points, depending on your point of view. I said point a lot in that sentence, but you'll have that on a big job. We're going to hit some of the points of the essay in question. And it was written by a woman named Sefera Giron. I apologize if I mispronounced that. I do not know this writer. And if I've ever met them, it was at StokerCon this year for probably 15 seconds. So I don't know them and have not heard of them, to my knowledge, prior to this kerfuffle. But her bio lists her as the author of over 25 traditionally published novels and was chairperson of the Ontario/Canadian chapter of the Horror Writers Association for nearly 30 years and now is a trustee. Remember that. It will be very important later. Now, Giron wrote this essay, and it was published in the In the Trenches section of the HWA newsletter. This newsletter, historically, has just kind of been a pass-through for the editor. It's written by a professional author, and it's written by a member of the Board of Trustees, so the editor, I don't know if he had the authority to kill the piece from statements. It seems like he didn't feel like he had the authority to kill the piece, but either way, he didn't kill the piece. Now, there are 3 reasons that this essay should never have been sent out in a professional newsletter. 1, the subject matter, which we will address. And plenty of other people have addressed and addressed. 2, is it stupid? The core of the essay is stupid and is based on a misinterpretation of a very well-known and well-utilized term. And for a professional author to spend a couple thousand words trying to redefine the term gatekeeper is stupid. And it should have been killed as an essay because it's stupid and it makes the organization look bad to have poorly written garbage in their newsletter. And the third reason it should have been resurrected yet again and killed is, my God, it's 2,000 words long. That's a 10-page flippin' article in a newsletter? Nobody's going to read that. Nobody reads newsletters like that anymore. Okay, maybe 10 people do, but you're all really old and probably not watching YouTube. Nobody reads newsletters for hours on end anymore. It's not like they're printing them off and reading them on the can. Keep your crap concise. So this essay should have never seen print. And I know, print. But we're going to go over pieces of it because it did go out to all the subscribers to the HWA newsletter. I'm not sure if you only get it if you're an HWA member or not. I don't know if I got a copy because I don't read most of the newsletters I am subscribed to. So anyway, let's dig in. And we are not going to read the entire essay to you. I am not a channel that is going to be reading you 45 minutes of somebody else's words and then giving you 5 minutes of my analysis. I am a channel run by a gigantic egomaniac who believes that my interpretation of these things is what you're actually here for. The essay is titled Gatekeepers by Safera Giron. And again, if I mispronounce her name, I am sorry. And it starts off, gatekeepers are a useful tool in fiction. They provide conflict and often offer the protagonist alternative ways to figure out how to reach their goals. I think about Ghostbusters when I think about gatekeepers, unless I'm thinking about that cool roller coaster at the Cedar Point gates. Let's just pretend that intro never happened because, good God, it's awful. And the next paragraph is worse. In real life, though, gatekeepers are often self-proclaimed people who have decided that the rest of the world must follow their own moral code that they've developed from their own personal life experiences and interpretation of social and political events around them. That is not what anyone in publishing means when they're talking about a gatekeeper. We might talk about a pedant that way. We might talk about someone who's... There are lots of ways to refer to people who claim that you have to adhere to their moral code to be worthy of anything, but gatekeeper isn't even the right word here. 25 published novels, traditionally published novels, 25 times you've gone through the most gate-kept process in the writing industry, and you don't know what a friggin' gatekeeper is? Come on! A gatekeeper is someone, wait for it, who stands by a gate and doesn't let the bad people in. It's right there in the friggin' word, Sephara. Sorry. A gatekeeper is not someone who says, you're naughty, you don't get to do this. A gatekeeper is someone who says, you don't get to come in. You stay out there. And in publishing, gatekeepers are acquiring editors, agents, and publishers. I are one. I know what a gatekeeper looks like. It looks like this. Not all gatekeepers are fat, middle-aged white men. A fair number of gatekeepers are middle-aged white men. I'm not going to make chonk judgments on anyone else, just myself. Publishers, agents, and acquiring editors are gatekeepers in publishing. That is part of our job. Our job is to keep the crap outside, off the shelves, and the awesomeness on the shelves. That's what gatekeepers in publishing do. It is, yes, we are frequently gatekeepers toward generative AI because many of us are working very hard to protect you, the consumer, from AI-generated slop. But we're not telling you that you're evil for using, well, I am. I'm telling you that you're a bad person and making moral judgments on you if you use generative AI. And this is the point at which, if you are ready to type some really long comment about how generative AI is here to stay and it's great and I'm a Luddite and I should just sit back and close my eyes and think of England, take a second and just type I heart AI, save yourself the rest of the effort, go ahead and give me the engagement that I want, but don't waste your time typing a giant wall of pro-AI text, because I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to skip over it. And really, most of my viewers aren't going to read it either, and you're not going to change anybody's mind. So if you love AI, just type in I love AI and move on. I'll get my engagement, you'll get your point made, and it'll be way more efficient, because that's what AI is for, right? To make you more efficient. Now, here's where Sephara goes just wildly off course. And I don't know if she's been part of some situation ever that was controversial in any way, but here's the okay boomer part of the essay. Oh, how I tire of the horror writer community and the gatekeeping that goes on. Not gatekeeping. Perhaps things were better before we all got online, when we didn't really know each other and our personal beliefs or our lives or our habits. We knew nothing of each other, and maybe that was a good way to be. As someone who grew up typing novels on a manual typewriter, I've seen a lot of changes in the world. I was super resistant to personal computers. I thought we'd all get radiation poisoning and die. So I didn't have a computer until 1987, when my husband bought me one to help with my writing. This is why you are a member of the Horror Writers Association and not the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers Association, because, you thought you were going to get radiation poisoning and die. I was very late getting a cell phone. I didn't get one until 2008. because I don't answer the phone anyway. Why would I carry it around with me? Full disclosure, I also hardly ever answer my phone. But I started carrying a cell phone in 1993, I think? 4? But, like most of you, I'm now addicted to having a computer in my pocket, and I love being able to correct my writing with spell check and move around entire paragraphs without having to retype pages perfectly with permanent liquid paper stains on my fingers. Technology keeps changing, oh so rapidly these days. We went from screaming about having to pump our own gas to screaming about self-checkouts. Back in the day, film studios were upset at the invention of home television sets, musicians were upset about electric guitars and synthesizers, filmmakers were upset about YouTube, visual artists were upset about photography, photographers were upset about Photoshop, and now writers are screaming about AI. There's a lot of false equivalencies there. Yes, people griped about having to pump your own gas, and people griped about self-checkouts, and for some of the same reasons. Losing personal connection and killing jobs. Musicians weren't upset about electric guitars for the same reason. They get upset about electric guitars because of difference in tone. Yes, film studios were upset at the invention of home television sets and streaming services and DVDs and all sorts of things. Visual artists probably were upset about photography. I am only 53 years old, so photographs were invented, I don't know, well over 100 years before I was friggin' born, so I don't know what visual artists were upset about in the 18 whatevers. Photographers are upset about Photoshop, and getting more so by the day. And yes, writers are screaming about AI. Because AI is stealing from us all the time. So, yeah, I'm annoyed. We're going to make a big jump here because, again, it's a 2,000 plus word essay and I'm not reading the whole thing. The real enemy isn't your buddy who is using AI to make a book cover. The enemy is the powers that be who thrive on dividing everyone, especially in the United States. Look at how divided everyone in the U.S. got over politics over the past 10 years, and it's now trickled to other countries. No more, are you a fellow human? Nope, it's who did you vote for? Well then, you must be a hateful asshole. Instant block. But who's the asshole? I have an idea who the asshole is in this picture, but let's wait until the end and see if we can figure it out together. Shall we? Every week, the gatekeepers of horror writers have some new witch hunt. Sometimes it's a good thing to suss out shitty publishers, editors, and agents. Yet, not all is in all caps, shitty ones are sussed out because, there are consequences to getting all the shitty people shut down. Some people still like the opportunities to get published or represented, even if it means going with the most despicable people, because the gatekeepers didn't get them shut down, or sometimes don't even notice. It all depends on who is buttering the toast. Don't think I haven't noticed. I don't think you haven't noticed. I don't think I understand what the hell you're saying. It sounds like you're upset because someone did something crappy and got shut down, but someone else who did something crappy didn't get shut down. That's what it sounds like. And it also sounds like you're got some weird conspiracy theory thing that this crappy publisher didn't get shut down because they're buttering someone's toast, and this crappy publisher did get shut down because they didn't butter anyone's toast. And what does butter have to do with publishing? Don't put butter on your manuscript. especially not if you have cats. Then they'll lick your manuscript and you'll have cats with butter farts and wet manuscript pages. No butter. The past few weeks have been so tedious with all the gatekeepers out in full force. They are whipping people up into a frenzy, and more division is happening when it comes to AI. Very little division, Safara, because most writers are very anti-AI. Of course, the irony is that the gatekeepers are denouncing AI, yet they are doing it on Facebook, which uses AI. They are likely typing their pretentious screeds on their phones, which also use AI. They likely sell their books on Amazon, which also uses AI. Oh, but Safara, there are different levels of AI use, and some are okay, but some are not. Are they, though? Are some okay and some are not? Your argument seems weirdly skewed. Again, manipulating reality to suit whatever platform you want to preach from. Yes, I've watched the self-proclaimed gatekeepers explain their version of the differences when it suits their blocking rampages. Good for them. Are you watching TV? I mean, you might be watching my YouTube video on TV, I don't know. Are you using Alexa? Do you have home security? What kind of car do you drive? Do you go to the doctor? Do you watch TV? Do you go to the movies? Do you have shopping apps on your phone? What's your mother's maiden name? What's the street you grew up on? What's the model of your first car? Don't answer those questions, but if you want to leave all those things in the comments, go for it. I won't steal your identity, I promise. Are you truly not using AI at all in your life? And have you truly boycotted all companies that use AI? No, of course not. You don't even know where AI lurks. It's everywhere right now. It's okay to use it for medical diagnosis, but not for diagnosing if your book has a good synopsis. It's not okay to use only AI for medical diagnosis either. A human being should review AI's findings. Yes, AI does have applications in medical diagnosis, but it cannot, and no one is saying that it can, replace humans, because human beings have to read and evaluate the findings because machines aren't people. Oh, Safara, that's not the point. The evil is generative AI, not all the other AI. Sure. Let's somehow separate one form from another. Yes, let's exactly do this. There are things I want AI to help me with. I want AI to examine traffic reports in real time and route me around a massive backup on the interstate. I want AI to help me spell accommodate right on the second try, and I want it to tell me when I misspelled it on the first try. I want AI to help analyze weather patterns and improve our hurricane tracking, especially since I live in the Carolinas and we get like multiple a year, and that sucks. I want AI to help farmers better utilize their land for more abundant crops by analyzing yield and rotation strategies. There are a lot of things I want to use AI for. None of those things are writing books or making book covers. I want AI to do the scut work. I want AI to make me a robot that can go over all of my last 5 years' sales at a convention, project what I need to carry, wheel itself into this office, pull stuff off the shelves, load them into bins, and carry it to my car. That AI I'm down with. Trend analysis, that kind of stuff, I'm here for. But I don't want it writing the books, because it ain't a person. Many companies use AI. AI can be useful for tedious tasks, such as creating listings on eBay or Poshmark. Do you shop or sell on those platforms? They totally use AI now, so you'd better boycott them too. Safara, and I know that she's never going to watch this video, nor do I care, but I'm going to continue addressing her as though she were in the room. Safara, this is a disingenuous argument, and you know it. It's the same as devaluing someone's opposition to firearms because they call something a clip instead of a magazine. You're making a false equivalency and trying to leverage that into winning an argument. And it doesn't prove that you understand how logic works. It doesn't prove that you're smart. It proves that you're an asshole. It proves that you are going to make whatever point you want to make in whatever disingenuous, unethical, BS logic fashion that you want to use, and expect all of us to bow down because it's in this official newsletter and you are an HWA trustee, so your word must be worth more than everyone else. All the drama and arguments in the horror writing field would be less prevalent if people could have conversations and educate each other. No one really and truly knows what's going on or even what the bottom line or end goal is. But what we do know is that here at the HWA, we are all writers, we all work in publishing in some capacity, and AI is here to stay. HWA has a public stance against generative AI. There. That's it. Full effing stop. This entire friggin' essay could have been 8 flippin' words. HWA has a public stance against generative AI. Done. You, Ms. Jerome, were a trustee of the organization. That means that your job is to uphold the stated goals and mission of the organization. And when you push this essay into the official newsletter of the organization, then this becomes the official stance of the organization. And that is why so many people, from nobodies to New York Times bestsellers and Bram Stoker award winners, came flying out to say, what the ever-loving crap is going on here? This essay dropped late Tuesday night or early Wednesday morning, August 4th, 5th, depending on time zones or all that. By 9:30 a.m. on August 5th, the Board of Trustees had already put out a post saying, we're working on a response. And by 5 p.m. Eastern on August 5th, they had already issued a statement and removed Ms. Jerome from the Board of Trustees. I will read HWA's statement in its entirety because it's not 2,000 flippin' words long. The executive leadership and trustees on the board of the Horror Writers Association has voted to remove Safara Jerome from her position as trustee effective immediately. The Horror Writers Association is committed to the promotion of horror and dark fantasy literature and the broadening of intellectual and cultural horizons by way of good works in those genres. In support of this mission, the board established a robust artificial intelligence policy following input from all levels of membership. This policy emphasizes the organization's sincere commitment to not only uplifting creators, but also protecting a culture of labor compensation in the arts, aligning with principles that safeguard our community. To this end, the HWA board firmly and resoundingly rejects the opinion piece of trustee Safara Jerome as included in the August 2026 installment of the HWA member newsletter in the Trenches column. This piece does not meet the standards of care and support to which we hold ourselves as elected members of this writers' organization. We regret that it was published in our newsletter without proper vetting. The HWA will review all newsletter submission procedures, including those submitted by trustees. Further, we reject the assertions in the piece, particularly those calling authors with genuine and sincere concerns regarding the proliferation of Gen AI, more commonly referred to as simply AI, Luddites and/or gatekeepers. Additionally, in keeping with the organization's ongoing commitment to the uplift and promotion of diverse voices in horror literature, we firmly denounce the comparison of concerns over AI data center proliferation to the ongoing struggles over indigenous water rights and ways. I skipped that part in the original essay, but yeah, that happened. As the leadership of the Horror Writers Association, we sincerely apologize for the hurt that these words have caused. We have heard your concerns and write today with a full understanding of the severity of the error made by way of this opinion piece's publication. It is not in keeping with opinion of the HWA, the board, and the general consensus of the membership. In the future, we will do more to better review and vet material included in the newsletter so that a repeat of this incident does not occur. Given that the column in question fails to uphold the principles of the organization, does not reflect the consensus of leadership and membership alike on the subject, and demonstrates a failure to fulfill the responsibilities of a trustee, the board has voted to remove Giron from her position effective immediately. We have always been an organization meant to protect writers, and that is what we will continue to stand for. Signed, the Board of Trustees of the Horror Writers Association. Now, full disclosure, I am currently one of the publishers of the president of Horror Writers Association, L. Marie Wood. She and I have not spoken about this issue. We've spoken about AI usage multiple times, and we are very much on the same page with regards to that garbage. But I didn't message her to talk about this, and I didn't have a conversation with anyone in HWA leadership, although several of them are friends of mine. These are all my opinions in this video, which are the official stance of me and Falstaff Books, because I own the company. I understand that when I'm sitting here espousing opinions, I am speaking for a publishing company. A publishing company that has one full-time employee, so it ain't like I got 100 people sitting behind me. But the vast majority of writers that I know are as virulently anti-AI as I am. So, this article should never have been written. It definitely should not have been published. So that Giron made the first screw up all on her own. That ain't on nobody but her. That second screw up, that's on HWA. And the editor of the newsletter has stepped down after this happened. He has apologized and said that he basically rubber stamped stuff that came in from trustees for this In the Trenches column. And it's unfortunate that that's the procedure that the newsletter operated on before now. But the swift response by the Board of Trustees in this case is fantastic. You can't ask for anything more than that when it comes to fixing a problem. Yes, it would have been better for the world if this had never become a problem, but it did. And when it did, the board stepped up and dealt with it. That's how an organization should behave. So kudos to the remaining Board of Trustees of HWA. There have been a fair number of people popping forward in the HWA Facebook group saying, I'm with Safara. Well, you can be with Safara. You just can't be with me. Yes, AI is here to stay. Yes, we all have to figure out how we're dealing with it. You know what else is here to stay? Racism. We have to figure out how we're dealing with that crap too. You know what's here to stay for me? Bipolar, ADHD, major depressive disorder, high blood pressure, vitamin D deficiency. Lots of things that I have to figure out how to deal with. What I don't have to learn how to deal with is generative AI. You know how I'm dealing with it? I'm not using it. You know how I'm dealing with racism? Working every day to not be racist. You know how I'm dealing with Gen AI for covers? I'm not hiring artists who use Gen AI. You know how I'm dealing with Gen AI on manuscripts? I'm not accepting them for publication, and I'm putting something, and there's a clause in every one of our contracts that says we won't use it for covers, and you are asserting by signing this contract that you haven't used it in the creation of the book. That's how I'm dealing with Gen AI. Self-driving cars are here too. I ain't getting in one. Liposuction's been here for a long time. Obviously, I'm not doing that either. Beard dye, just for men, has been around for decades. Not just for this guy. There are lots of things that are here to stay, that are crap, and we don't have to use them. You know what you do have to do, though? If you've stuck around for the last 37 minutes, you have to give this video a like. If you haven't already subscribed, you should click that subscribe button. You should tell me in the comments what crappy thing in your life is here to stay and how you're dealing with it. Just like I'm dealing with generative AI by not using it and refusing to allow it to be used in my publishing company. How are you dealing with some piece of garbage in your life that's here to stay? This isn't your therapy session, but fine. Use it as your therapy session. It's cool. And if you want to get access to these videos early and get your name on the wall, that's not a wall anymore, is it? Get your name on the screen like these cool people. You can become a member and you'll get the videos a little early. How's that sound? So, to wrap this up, because we've gone a little long. Yes, this lady completely punted this essay, wrote a crap essay, based it on a flawed thesis, and got herself booted from the board of directors because of it. She screwed a pooch. HWA, however, responded quickly, decisively, and correctly. So, good on you to the Horror Writers Association. As for Ms. Giron, well, don't let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you, as we say here in the country. And till next time, bye.